Welcome to The Explainer. So today, we're diving into a paradigm-shifting concept that completely flips everything we've been taught about entrepreneurship right on its head. Almost every piece of business advice out there tells you to start from scratch, right? Build it from nothing, grind it out, hustle harder. But the wealthiest operators out there, they don't think like that at all. They skip the incredibly risky startup phase entirely. Instead, they look for businesses that already have customers, cash flow, and a solid reputation, and they simply write a check. Today, we're going to unpack exactly why they do this and look at the actual everyday businesses they're quietly scooping up.
To really wrap our heads around the scale of this, just listen to this staggering number: $7.95 billion. That is how much money changed hands last year on just one single business for sale marketplace. And we're not talking about venture capital, the stock market, or crypto here. This is ordinary people buying ordinary Main Street small businesses. Last year alone, 9,486 small businesses were sold at a median price of $350,000.
Okay, let's look at the stark contrast between these two paths, because the math isn't even close. 8 out of 10 people who try to start a business from scratch fail within 18 months. It's brutal. But look at the acquisition side. The median cash flow of those businesses sold last year was $150,000. That means the average buyer paid roughly 2.6 times the annual profit, stepped right in, and immediately started collecting that cash flow every single year. You aren't buying a dream. You're buying absolute proof that the business works.
Section 1. Real estate in disguise. Some of the absolute most lucrative businesses you can buy are actually just land banking strategies brilliantly wrapped up in a simple operating model. We aren't talking about flashy tech companies here. Take automated car washes. Modern ones use $20 to $40 unlimited monthly wash subscriptions. They generate massive recurring revenue with incredible 35 to 50% margins because, well, the incremental cost is literally just soap and water. Or look at parking lots. They're the quietest real estate play in America, offering passive 8 to 11% yields, especially when you net lease them to national operators like LAZ Parking. And gas stations. The fuel is just the bait. Gross margins on gas are incredibly thin, but the inside convenience store sales carry 30 to 40% margins from a completely captive audience.
But hey, quick timeout. As with any investment, there are massive landmines you have to avoid. If you're looking at a gas station, you absolutely must demand Phase 1 and Phase 2 environmental site assessments. A leaking underground storage tank can cost up to $1 million to clean up, which will literally bankrupt you before you even unlock the front doors. And if you ever see an RV park advertised with a massive 15 to 20% cap rate, run. That almost always points to hidden catastrophic maintenance liabilities, like a failing septic system or unpermitted electrical hookups.
But when done right, the upside is huge. And this brilliantly illustrates the exact formula for an asset like an RV park. You don't buy the pristine dream property. You buy the tired park at an 8 to 10% cap rate. Then, you execute this dead simple value-add playbook. Convert low-paying monthly tenants to high-margin nightly vacationers. Install sub-meters so tenants pay their own power. And upgrade the Wi-Fi. By following those steps, you can literally double your net operating income within 18 to 24 months without laying a single new pad of concrete.
Section 2. The Consolidation Playbook.
Now, this is where individual buyers are learning to print money using the exact same tactics private equity billionaires have been quietly using for decades. But before we get into the crazy numbers, we need to quickly define a core concept: seller's discretionary earnings, or SDE. Simply put, this is the total cash flow a business generates for a single owner-operator after adding back all their personal expenses. This number is the baseline foundation used to calculate exactly how much you should pay for small businesses in spaces like trades and healthcare.
Okay, here's where the magic really happens. Check out this massive arbitrage opportunity. An individual buyer can scoop up a small dental practice, HVAC shop, or vet clinic at a relatively low multiple, say 2.5 to 3.5 times earnings. The play here is you buy a few of these, bundle them together so they can share back-office costs like accounting and marketing, and then you sell that larger, consolidated platform to private equity giants. And those PE firms, they are willing to pay double or even triple the multiple you originally paid. You buy low, consolidate, and sell high. It's a brilliant playbook.
And get this, banks will literally throw money at you to fund these specific acquisitions. Specialty lenders like Live Oak Bank routinely finance 100% of the purchase price for dental practices. Why? Because the default rate is historically under 1%. Banks love predictable cash flow. You just look for dental clinics with a high-margin mix of cash-pay cosmetic procedures or HVAC companies that have hundreds of seasonal maintenance memberships. Buyers view those recurring maintenance contracts as a $200,000 to $300,000 bonus asset sitting right on top of the regular business value. So here is the absolute most crucial point. You do not actually need to know how to fix an air conditioner or drill a tooth to own these companies. But you absolutely must secure the people who do. The wrench holder makes the money, the business buyer keeps it. If you acquire a veterinary clinic and the lead associate veterinarian walks out 6 months later, you could lose up to 50% of your revenue overnight. So success requires locking in these key professionals with long-term employment contracts and retention bonuses way before the deal even closes.
Section 3. Resilient cash cows.
As the great author Morgan Housel notes, the businesses that survive aren't the ones predicting the future. They're the ones adapting to whatever future actually shows up. So let's look at businesses that thrive regardless of the overall economy. In spaces like insurance and staffing, you aren't really buying heavy equipment. You're buying what's called a book of business. This is essentially a list of customers already paying recurring premiums or tied into enterprise contracts. When you buy a well-managed insurance agency, you're instantly inheriting a 90% retention rate. That means 9 out of 10 clients will automatically pay you next year and the year after that. You completely skip that agonizing cold calling phase.
But listen, there are strict non-negotiables for closing these deals. In insurance, you absolutely must confirm that the underlying insurance carriers will actually appoint you. If they reject you, you literally cannot service the policies you just bought. In staffing agencies, enterprise clients often pay on net 60 or net 90 terms, meaning you have to pay your temp workers out of pocket for months before you ever collect an invoice. You have to set up cash flow bridges like receivables factoring lines, or you're going to bleed out. And finally, never ever buy an agency where one single client makes up more than 15% of the revenue. Diversification is your absolute survival rule here.
Section 4. The ultimate proof. All right, we are about to look at the #1 business on our list today. It is without question the most recession-proof, competition-proof, and disruption-proof asset imaginable. It operates with brutal, unavoidable simplicity: the funeral home industry. It's driven by one core factor that no economic cycle or tech trend can ever alter: people die. There is zero seasonality in this business, and there is almost zero price sensitivity or discretionary spending risk during the buying moment. Families losing a loved one do not comparison shop on Yelp.
To put this into perspective, let's look at the sheer demographics. The crude death rate in the U.S. is roughly 10.4 per 1,000 people. That equals about 3.4 million deaths annually right now. And as the massive baby boomer generation continues to age, that number is mathematically projected to increase. This is that rare industry where the customer base is literally guaranteed to grow every single year. Furthermore, these businesses are absolute financial fortresses. Most of them come with pre-need trust funds, which is cash just sitting in accounts for prepaid funeral contracts that haven't even been performed yet. It's a built-in future revenue pipeline just waiting for you. They also operate as natural geographic monopolies because strict zoning laws make it almost impossible to build a brand new funeral home. And while the trend is moving toward cremation, smart owners are adapting by offering premium memorial packages that bring those cremation revenues up to $5,000. But remember, above all else, this is a business of deep empathy. You can't just take the keys. You really have to spend 6 to 12 months working alongside the retiring director to truly earn the community's trust.
Section 5. The acquisition mindset.
There's a specific mindset that ties all these different businesses together. None of them are going to land you on the cover of a tech magazine, sure, but every single one of them prints cash from day one. Let's consider the real-world difference between these two paths. You've got Marcus, who spends 3 years in the startup hustle culture. He burns through his $80,000 savings, works 80-hour weeks, pivots 4 different times, and ends up with absolutely nothing. Then you have Elena. She takes that exact same $80,000, uses it as a down payment for an SBA loan, and acquires an existing HVAC company. Within a year, she's taking home a $180,000 salary, all while the existing cash flow of the business pays off the debt. The difference here isn't luck. It's simply the choice to buy instead of build. Ultimately, the best business for you isn't the one that sounds coolest at a dinner party. It's the one that perfectly matches your specific capital, your unique skills, and the lifestyle you actually want. Look, if you want purely passive capital deployment, you look at parking lots. If you're great at hands-on operations, veterinary roll-ups might be right up your alley. If you excel at sales and relationships, staffing agencies are absolute gold mines. And if you can lead with genuine empathy during people's darkest days, funeral homes offer unparalleled stability. But you can't just sit on the sidelines forever. Last year, the average cash-flowing small business was listed for just 168 days. Every 168 days, an owner retires, an opportunity closes, and a cash-printing business finds a new home.
The window on these baby boomer retirement acquisitions is moving incredibly fast.
So I want to leave you with this provocative thought. As this massive wealth transfer continues, will you be the one writing the next check to step into guaranteed cash flow? Or will you still be scrolling looking for the next risky startup idea to build from absolutely nothing? We'd love to know what you guys think. Drop a comment below on which of these cash flowing businesses surprised you the most, and make sure to